Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a reading for the sign of Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Capricorn, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one of those or in making a donation, you can find that information in my Buy Me a Coffee link, my official Instagram and TikTok, all listed in the About section of my YouTube page, and I thank you so much in advance. Capricorn, I hope that you're doing well. This reading is all about the messages from the person on your mind. I'm going to be using two decks for your reading today. The first one for the overall energy is going to come from the Human Spirit Oracle deck, and for the tarot portion of the reading, the Pulp Tarot, one of my favorite decks. The cards have been pre-shuffled. This is for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Angels, spirits, guides, what messages do you have from Capricorn's person, the person on their mind? Oh, interesting. Number 23, which reduces to a 5, the Hierophant card of the Major Arcana. That's Taurus energy, fellow Earth sign. The Hierophant card can often talk about somebody who we regard in very high esteem, somebody who is wise, probably wise beyond their years, someone who can act as a conduit between this world and the spirit world. So somebody who is a leader, a religious leader, a spiritual leader of some kind. But often this card can be known as the Pope of the Tarot, just a source of wisdom. That's why it's often also represented by teacher energy. So the person in your life could be somebody that you hold in high regard. And what they're telling you now is that both of you see eye to eye. This is a very striking image. First of all, I'm drawn to this moth type energy in the top half of the image. Moth energy is something that my favorite reader, one of my favorite readers, Santero, talks about. The moth energy is kind of being part of this unconscious, subconscious, psychic realm. It's very otherworldly when we encounter moth energy. I always thought moths were so fascinating. It's that whole death drive, that instinct of moths to kind of go to the flame, right, which we can see here, this big moon or sun-like entity in the background. It's not even, it doesn't feel like it's moving towards that golden orb, though. It's like emanating from it. That seems relevant somehow. So it's like the death drive in reverse. So the death card of the Major Arcana of the Tarot talks about endings and new beginnings. This seems different. This seems like there's this, if anything, it's the opposite of something coming to the end. It's almost like something is coming to its full fruition now. This emergence from some heavenly body, this emergence of intellect, of understanding. So you can also see here, like the chessboard, there is some strategy between, it's not to say that I think that you are in competition with this person, although it could have been. I see kind of a situation of mentor and protege. So as somebody who is a mentor and has been a protege, I feel like I am a protege of many tarot readers on YouTube. They just don't know that I'm their protege, but I am a mentor. And you're always caught in this kind of place where you want the person you're mentoring to exceed their own expectations, and maybe secretly exceed your expectations. That you want them, it's like I would assume, because I'm not a mother, but like raising a child, where you want to raise your child to be the best version of themselves that they can be. And but there can be some competition there between fathers and their children. But I don't feel like there's it's healthy competition with this person, whoever is the person on your mind. They see you now as an equal, and maybe they didn't before. I'm getting the scenario of somebody who is kind of finishing up a thesis program. Maybe you're in college, graduate school, and it's kind of like the mentee is now becoming the mentor. Right? The student becomes the teacher. That kind of situation, where now you can see eye to eye with one another. And eye to eye also represents this idea of agreement, that we can, maybe there are some differing opinions or approaches to something, but you've come to this really beautiful, healthy place of respect. And now you can sit at the table as equals, and kind of, even though they're chess pieces here, I feel like there's this verbal sparring happening. But what is really amazing is that it's not just kind of earthly intellect. It's not just the things that you read in books and you figured out in research quantitatively. There's something going on with the intuition space. So it's more qualitative, right? There are factors involved that have to do with, Spirit just showed me the word social sciences. So you could be in the social sciences, you could be in education, you could be in psychology, or something like that. Where now, and this is just an example, take it as it resonates, but I see a very specific example of I feel as though you are the student kind of in the situation, that you've built yourself up to now reach the level of your mentor, your inspiration, and now you can sit at the table as equals, and it's really beautiful. It's actually making me think of a situation that just happened to me yesterday, where somebody who has been an absolute inspiration to me offered me the chance to interact with them because they inspired me at a distance. So it's very humbling, but also I have to kind of get out of my space of kind of putting this person on a pedestal, even though I believe that they deserve to be on a pedestal because of how talented and gifted they are. But I have to kind of just take them off the pedestal and treat them as they are and come to them as I am, right? And it feels healthy. It feels like a healthy interaction. It feels as though because I see this as you kind of using all of your intellectual, emotional, psychic resources to approach this person with respect, but also with healthy competition, with healthy camaraderie. So this could be like a boss or a colleague, a teacher, could be an older sibling, just somebody it could be somebody in the public eye, especially because the card is eye to eye. But this person wants to say to you that I think that they see you as a worthy, and I'm going to use the word adversary because those are the two words that kind of come together, a worthy adversary, but they don't look at you as an adversary. It's like they look at you as like a compatriot. Like they look at you as a, maybe somebody that they can work alongside in the future. as equals. There's a mutual admiration. It feels good. But there's a seriousness. I mean, the look on her face is very serious. That's why I think that it's if it's a workplace situation or a school situation, it's very like maybe there have been tests and grading and research and whatever. It feels like a very it doesn't feel casual. It doesn't feel like a casual person to you. But it's a beautiful energy. Let's get some cards from the tarot. I don't have a layout for today's reading. I'm just going to pull cards and see about the messages from the person on your mind. The Temperance card. I'm only taking uprights in today's reading. It was very important before I even turned on the camera. I'm going to take uprights only. I don't know why. Spirit just wanted me to do it. So, the Temperance card. 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on land. Part man, part woman, all angel. Temperance card number 14, Sagittarius energy. Talks about patience, balance, really understanding that through a tempering period, through a process, we can elevate something, right? Turning base metals into gold, like an alchemist, turning pain into power. So the person on your mind has seen you go through this journey. Maybe when you started as, a beginner, right? I feel like a Page of Pentacles energy, and now you're a King energy. You've gone through this period of maturity, and incrementally and with patience. And maybe you didn't always have patience, but I feel as though your person saw you as somebody who, one, was serious about themselves, as a Capricorn would tend to be. One was serious about themselves, but also that you didn't rush a process, even though you might have wanted to. That you took your time with it. That you crossed all your T's and dotted all your I's. That's what Spirit just said. Crossed all the T's, dotted all the I's. Made sure that you looked over detail by detail by detail. So that by the time you had to make your presentation, or write your thesis, or present your work project, or open your business, or whatever it is, you had all your ducks in a row. You had asked all the pertinent questions, that you had used. When I say used, I meant turned to this person for wise counsel, used their counsel to your advantage as they wanted you to, right? This feels very, very, everything about this so far feels very above board. Like there's been reciprocity, there's been challenge, but like intellectual challenge. I'm seeing too here, this kind of wing energy feels like mirrored here. Even with a moth or with a butterfly, just the idea of this emergence from a cocooned place into something fully formed. It's a time, it takes time. And so your person wants to, recognize that they could see the progress as it was happening. They could see your methodology. Let's get another card. King of Swords. This is fantastic. Gemini energy. King of Swords talks about somebody who is an expert in their field. I feel as though this is your person. An expert in their field, the sword of truth, the sword of knowledge, clarity, clear communication. King of Swords is somebody who might not be like the most touchy-feely, emotional, ooey-gooey kind of person. I don't know where all these words are coming from, but they are somebody that wanted to see you succeed. But your person also recognized that they at one point were the wiser one, the expert, the learned person. And the authority. They recognize that about themselves. There's a little bit of like, yeah, I know I'm the professor, or I know I'm the boss, or I know I'm the, like, I recognize that I came from a more seasoned place. Maybe just simply by the fact that they're older than you, or they have more experience. But you see, this King of Swords is always so interesting to me because of the way that he's holding the sword. It's almost like he's like handing it to you, the sword of knowledge. It's like handing you the Ace of Swords. Here you go. It's yours to wield now. It's almost like Spirit just said, forged in fire. And now I'm getting an image from the movie The Princess Bride, which is one of my favorite movies. A sword featured very prominently in The Princess Bride. The sword that Inigo Montoya carried around with him in that movie was left to him. It was complicated how it was left to him, but left to him by his father, passed from father to son. Right? So, this could be a father figure, right? Well, now I'm hearing that Taylor Swift song by the same name, which is an amazing song. That song, though, okay, Spirit's giving me a scenario. That song, the Taylor Swift song Father Figure, which is just, at the time that I'm doing this reading, it's fairly new. That song is about a troublesome situation with somebody who was supposed to, or started out as, a generous mentor to Taylor Swift, and then it turned real ugly. It turned into something that was looking across the room at little Taylor Swift and thinking that they could, manipulate the situation, use this protege for their own gain, etc., etc. That's what the song is about. I don't know if it's true, not true, whatever. That's what the song is about. So Spirit's giving me that as an example. Maybe somewhere along the way, you encountered somebody who was not a good mentor to you. And so when you finally found the person that was on the up and up, it was such a relief. Because I see that kind of offshoot now that, not all teachers are built the same. I went to grad school, and there were some teachers in grad school that were just really, truly full of themselves. It was off-putting. It's like, how can you learn from somebody that's they just want to hear themselves talk? It's gross, actually. But that's not this person. That's not the person that I'm speaking of right now. It's a person that is so generous that they want to kind of bequeath you their sword of knowledge. That's great. Let's get another one for Capricorn. 2 cards came out. 3 of Pentacles. 3 of Pentacles talks about collaboration and co-creation. So hatching plans. It's interesting because I see this kind of the playing board, the chess board. It's chess, right? Yeah, it's chess. And I see this, right? The blueprints, hatching plans, working together in collaboration. And often the 3 of Pentacles can talk about collaboration with Spirit as well. So no matter what field you're in or what situation this is, I think that part of you also did a little bit of praying about it. When I say praying, I say that word loosely, manifesting. Just really hoping, because hoping and wishing and praying and whatever that song is, because I hear this, that everything would work out. This is the Archangel, right? So there was a little bit of part of you, maybe that was a little scared. And so I don't know why that had to come into the scenario, because it felt very earthly. It felt very, very earthly, very, 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 very And now it's kind of stepping up into something otherworldly. Maybe, okay, Spirit is saying that, like, maybe the way that you even encountered your, let's just say it's a mentor, just for argument's sake, for the sake of this conversation, this person, maybe the way that they appeared in your life felt very faded. And Spirit wants to remind you, of course it was. Thank you, Spirit. Of course it was. Of course it was faded. Of course it was meant to be. This person is a part of your path. And I think they know it too. Although they might not word it like that. But I think a part of you knows that you were supposed to work with this person. You were supposed to learn from this person. Also got the Four of Swords here. I feel as though you've worked really hard and you might be exhausted. Four of Swords can talk about rest and recuperation after hardship. So, yeah, just because this is a process of patience doesn't mean that it was always easy. There could have been some struggle. In fact, there probably was some struggle. The fact that the Four of Swords showed up at all. There's all different ways in combination of cards that Spirit can show a reader to kind of jog the message. It was relevant, right, that they show the Four of Swords as somebody, especially as somebody in bed. I mean, it could also represent a dream state that maybe some of your planning and your strategy came in your dream state. So I have a twin flame. My twin flame is, I always designate him as the King of Swords. He's a Gemini. And he told me, and I didn't know this about him before, but he told me that so much of his strategic thinking happens in kind of theta wave state. So he can process a lot of information when he's between sleep and wakefulness, almost because that theta wave state allows his mind to kind of wander, but in a productive way. And so maybe you are of a similar vein. Maybe you problem solve when you are in these states of meditation or prayer or sleep, theta wave sleep, or theta wave activity. I know Spirit wanted me to bring that up. They just said, that's the ticket. That's the ticket. That's the key. And you figured that out about yourself. Or maybe you're just now figuring it out. Maybe you never put a name to it before. Like, you know how social media is funny, right? Because while it's noxious sometimes it's interesting because it allows people to disseminate a lot of information very quickly. Like a year ago, even more maybe, I remember watching Instagram or TikTok videos where people started asking their audiences or whatever, when you read to yourself, or like whatever, when you're reading a book, can you hear your own voice in your head? Or when you close your eyes, can you see an image? If I said the word apple and you closed your eyes, could you see an apple in your mind's eye, in your imagination? There's some people that cannot. There's some people that don't hear music in their brains. They process information differently. And we wouldn't know this unless we would just assume that everybody process information the same way. And they just don't. Like, and that's how I discovered that I was clairsentient, claircognizant, clairaudient. Like, I just thought everybody could like close their eyes and just see something visually, or that they would just know something instinctively. Some people, it's not to say anything is good or better or worse. It's not about that, but it's more just about you coming to this understanding of how it is that you process information. And it's what makes you unique. And I think that your mentor saw that in you, or recognized that in you, and allowed that to come to the surface, encouraged it. Let me get some more cards. 7 of Cups. So I think your person now wants to ask you, what's next? It's almost as if you've accomplished this great thing, whatever it is, over here. And your person is curious about what is next for Capricorn. What's next on your plate? The 7 of Cups talks about being spoiled for choice. There can be some confusion about next moves, next decisions. It's a little bit of the energy of like the world is your oyster. What would you like to accomplish next? And it's hard. We don't want to think of our lives as like just jumping from accomplishment to accomplishment. But at the same time, working on things gives us purpose. And so it's not about trying to one-up anybody or even one-up yourself. It's just like I find meaning and purpose in pursuing the things that I love to do. So your person wants to ask you, okay, you've accomplished this great thing, so what's next? And now I'm gonna ask the cards, I'm gonna ask Spirit, what's your answer? What is Capricorn's answer? Wow. Interesting. 5 of Cups. I'm gonna get another card, hold on. To clarify, thank you, Spirit. 6 of Cups. Okay, so this Spirit wants me to bring this card again, right? Remember when I said, so the 4 of Swords comes after the 3 of Swords in the tarot, and the 3 of Swords talks about heartache, heartbreak, disappointment. I feel as though there's something that is independent of this person, like it has nothing to do with this person, but something in your personal life, like on the side or maybe front and center, that occurred that might have caused you disappointment. And I almost feel as though if your mentor is saying to you, Capricorn, what's next? You're saying in return, I have to take some time. I have to rest. I have to reflect. I have to heal. 5 of Cups can talk about this sense of, sometimes it can talk about depression. Sometimes it can talk about melancholy. See these 2 cups back here. There's always this reminder in the 5 of Cups that there are 2 cups still standing. 2 of Cups in the tarot talks about divine partnership and divine union. The 6 of Cups talks about, and there are cups represented here too, it talks about looking back to the past with nostalgia and fondness, good memories. I don't know if some of you, and you would already know this coming to this reading, somebody has experienced a grief or a loss. My condolences if that's the case. So now I'm feeling a situation where, because, okay, thank you, Spirit. Why is this person on your mind at all? I think because you respect them greatly. And maybe you're at this point now where you're thinking, are they going to be disappointed in me if I just slow things down a little bit, because I just need some time to heal something. I don't feel that your person is going to be disappointed in you. Maybe you haven't even told them what's going on. But I don't know, I feel like you're going through something that requires you to take some time out, like a sabbatical. Give me another card, please, Spirit, for the 5 and 6 of Cups. Page of Pentacles. There's a part of you that feels like, do I have to start over? Do I have to start from the beginning? Do I have to start all over again? I accomplished so much over here, and yet I still feel like a student. I think whoever I'm reading for, I think you're feeling doubt. Like somehow your confidence is shot. And your person wants to like remind you of how far you've come, of how much they respect you, and the wisdom that's still circling around. Like, it's almost like you've awakened this intuitive part of you that is going to help you explore something new for yourself. Let's get a card of advice from Spirit for Capricorn. The Tower, yeah. Major Arcana number 16, Aries and Scorpio energy. Whatever this disappointment over here is, it caused a tower. Spirit wants to lovingly remind you that towers occur for our best and highest good. And that might seem like a really crappy thing to say if you're going through it. I'm just relaying the message that it's almost like the worst is over, that great change is occurring, but it's going to evolve you in a way that you could have never predicted. And you're going to be able to tap into this resource of strength and wisdom that you didn't even know you were capable of. That's your reading, Capricorn. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Please hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you, Capricorn.